Okay, we're good. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon. In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. Just before I get into any more remarks, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Stan Komorek. I'll be your chair this afternoon. I'd like to also introduce my fellow panel members. To my immediate left, or my far left, is Natalia Popovic. To my left is Dominic Gully. To my right is Don Taylor, and to my far right is Bill Dalton. I'd also like to introduce Barbara Bertozik, our Deputy Secretary Treasurer and Manager of the Etobicoke Committee of Adjustment, and Barb's staff in front of us. So the Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that apply to property, permission to extend or alter lawful nonconforming uses, and consents to sever property to create new lots. We'd like to do a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Our procedure this afternoon, Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid and in-person virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, while others will do so virtually by electronic means through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone or other device, and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will be automatically muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to a panelist when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during the video appearance. Decisions of the committee, people attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address, as the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, or in some limited circumstances to Ontario Land Tribunal. However, with the somewhat recent amendments to the Planning Act, generally third parties are no longer allowed to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions, and now only the applicant, Minister of Municipal Affairs, specified persons and public bodies such as the City of Toronto are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. We will go through each item in the order listed in the agenda. When you make your submissions where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter into committee for discussion. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching or have reached your 5-minute mark. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit must have been emailed in advance of the hearing, staff and committee members cannot accept new materials at the hearing today. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make the presentation. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to the proposal at the hearing today. If we decide the revisions are substantial, we may decide to defer the application to ensure the revised application is accurate and to ensure that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Secondly, individuals either in support or opposition to the application will then be invited to speak. We generally first call on those in the hearing room and then those participating online. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agent will have an opportunity to come back and rebut any issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Okay, before moving on, are there any declarations of interest on the afternoon agenda by staff or panel members? No? Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. I just want to double check this call-in user. I just don't recognize the phone number, just to make sure. So caller user 647-680. Can you please identify yourself? Again, this is for call-in user 647-680.
Hi, my name is Dean Abdu.
And which item are you here for?
For the item number is A00126EYK.
Item 24? Okay. Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't think we have any closed files. I believe we have one deferral request, Madam Secretary Treasurer. Okay, so let's address the deferral before we go to the top of the agenda. So that is item 27, 417 Valermo Drive, sorry. And it is an application to obtain consent to sever the property into two undersized lots. And who is... Is the agent in person or online? Okay.
Go ahead, Maya.
Good afternoon, Sir Chair and fellow committee members. My name is Maya Marchese, a planner at Design Plan Services located at 87 Skyway Avenue in Toronto.
Good afternoon. We understand that you have a new zoning notice and there's another variance to be added.
That's correct. As noted in the deferral request letter, there was a variance missed through the zoning review process, and so it was not on the public notice. We haven't made any changes to the plans, and this deferral is strictly to ensure all variances are captured through the application and satisfy the public notice requirement.
Okay, and that was done through zoning review. It's not through a waiver that you've decided that you need that.
No, it was through a zoning review. We realized that the variance was not on there, so we went back to the zoning examiner who corrected it for us.
Okay, because this has to do with your building length of 19 meters?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, maybe I'm confused. I thought if your lot was over 40 meters deep, you have the as of right up to 19 meters, but I could be wrong.
We did double check with the zoning examiner and she did identify this as a variance.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll take that as your request to defer. And I'm just going to check in with the other speakers on the line still.
Yes, so we have a Maria Lau. I'll connect her now.
Okay, good afternoon, Maria.
Good afternoon.
Hi, so the applicant wants to defer the application, which means we wouldn't hear it today. I'm assuming you're okay with that?
Yes, I'm okay with that.
Thank you. And do we have another?
So Chair, we do have a Marissa Lau, but I believe Maria
Yes.
stated that they know each other, so I think they would be okay for the
So they're,
deferral.
okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I'll speak on her behalf. She'll be
Perfect,
okay with
thank
that.
No problem, thank you. So we'll take it back to committee then for a motion.
Chair, I'm going to move that the application be deferred at the applicant's request in order to clearly identify necessary variances.
Thank you, Mr. Gully.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. All in favor? Okay, item 27 is deferred. So now if we go back to item 22. So item 22 is 21 Glenroy Avenue. This is an application to construct a new two-story front addition, a two-story rear addition, and a second-story addition above the existing dwelling. This will be considered a new dwelling. There are 10 variances being requested. There's been some revisions. I believe variance 7 has been removed. So now we're down to 9 variances. And we have an error, I think, in the notice, which I want to address with the applicant as well. Our applicant is online.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I am Maxim Ishimov, the applicant.
Hi, Maxime. I think there's an error in the notice, not one that's going to defer this, but we just need to correct it.
Yes, it is a typo that originated in zoning notice, and it is corrected in zoning waiver that I signed.
Okay, hold on. Let me just pull up the notice.
I'm totally agree with this correction.
Oh, was there? Okay. So we'll go with what was submitted later then, through the so the revised version has the correct number. The revised version will change the variance to, which is the correct number. Okay, let me just check that. 6.0. It is 6.0? Okay, not 60? Okay.
Yeah.
21 revision page. Sorry, variance.
3.
Oh, I'm in the wrong item. I'm still on 21. Hold on, yeah. 22. Okay, if it's revised, it's revised.
Yeah, it's in the additional material.
Yeah, I know, that's where I'm at, but I'm still struggling to find it.
It's on the
That's okay.
screen there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I don't think we need a full presentation. I'm assuming there's no other speakers on this?
That's correct.
Okay, so if we can just leave it for questions? Maxime, you're okay with that, or?
Yes, thank
If you're
you.
dying to do a presentation, we'll take it, but. Any questions from panel members? No? So let's take it into committee then.
So, Chairman, I'm prepared to speak on this item. Indeed, this is considered a new dwelling, and there are what appear to be a large number of variances, but 10 variances, but each of the variances examined individually, you'll see that the variances that are being requested individually are all small. For example, 7 meters, they want 7.08 meters. Eve's very small changes to the bylaw. West property line, driveway width, parking stall dimensions. I believe all of these, even though there are 10, are all small. The one that perhaps stands out mostly is the coverage, going from 33 to 43%, as well as the FSI. But again, it's a modest house that's being proposed, and the coverage really has no adverse impact. I'm going to move that the application be approved, and with no conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Gully.
Mr. Chair, I will second that with a notation that I believe on the revised notice, we are now have 9 minor variances.
Correct. With one variance has been dropped, number 7. Yeah.
Number 7.
So we're approving 9 variances.
And of course, with the change
With the
made to
correction.
item 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so as approved, as revised. All in favor?
And subject to the forestry?
No forestry.
What forestry?
There's no forestry.
Environment, climate, and forestry? No?
No,
No?
not that I saw.
I don't see it.
Nope,
Okay. No?
nothing. Nope.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, so unanimous approval. Thank you. Okay, item 23, 45 MARIPOSA Avenue. This is an application to construct a 3rd-story front addition and a 2nd and 3rd-story rear addition above the existing dwelling. There is 1 variance being requested. And we have the agent in person? Yeah, Glenn?
Good afternoon, Chair,
Good
committee,
afternoon.
and staff. Yes, my name is Gene Mastrangeli. I'm acting agent and designer for this project.
Okay.
In the past couple of years, the zoning bylaws have raised the building height to allowance of 11 meters, permitting 3rd floors in this zone. The proposed design does not exceed the height allowance. The design is also within all the required setbacks, and the only allowance we are seeking is an extra 12% floor space for the 3rd floor.
Excuse me, thank you. Well, it's 1 variance, so.
It's 1 variance. And would you like to hear personal reasons for the
No.
addition or no? Okay. All right.
But don't go away. Is there any questions? No, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have another speaker as well?
Yes, we have a Helen Thompson in person.
Good day.
Good afternoon. Oh, it's loud. Okay. Say good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Helen Thompson, and this is my sister, Chris. We are here today speaking on behalf of my mother, who's here, Theodora Magos, who is 84 years old and has lived at 47 MARIPOSA Avenue for 63 years. She is the long-time owner and resident of the property immediately adjacent to the subject site. We are here to oppose the requested minor variance for the proposed 2nd and 3rd story addition. Our primary concern is that this proposal is out of character with the neighborhood. There are no other semi-detached homes on this street with additions of this height and scale. A 2nd and 3rd story addition would significantly alter the established streetscape and does not reflect the prevailing built form. For that reason, we do not believe the proposal is desirable for the appropriate development of the land as required under Section 45(1)B of the Planning Act. We're also very concerned about the scale and massing, particularly given the extremely close proximity to my mother's home and the shared right-of-way between the 2 properties. The increased height and bulk will result in overlook, loss of privacy, and a strong sense of enclosure. Given the narrowness of the space, the proposal would create a canyon effect, reducing light, air circulation, and openness. These impacts are adverse. It affects adjacent lands and are not consistent with good planning or public interest. The shared right-of-way between the properties is about 4 feet, 12 inches. So we have 2 feet and 6 inches on each side. Increasing the size of the neighborhood structure intensifies impacts in this already constrained area and further limits my mother's enjoyment and use of her property. This demonstrates that the variance is not minor in impact, even if it may appear modest numerically. which fails Section 45(1)A of the Planning Act. We also ask the committee to consider the cumulative impact of past development on this site. Approximately 5 years ago, a rear addition extended the building footprint outward, which permanently blocks sunlight to my mother's garden. During that construction, workers entered her property without permission. They removed boundary fencing and left unsafe conditions for a period of 1 year. Given my mother's age, this history raises serious concerns. The applicants are now proposing to build upwards, seeking a building volume that is excessive and completely out of the character with the neighborhood. When considered cumulatively, this is clearly not a minor change. We would also note that the applicants are requesting an FSI of 0.92, which represents a 15% increase over the permitted 0.8. This increase directly contributes to the excessive scale and massing of the proposal and further supports the conclusion that the application fails both the minor and desirable tests under Section 45(1) of the Planning Act. For all these reasons, we respectfully submit that the requested variance does not meet the 4 tests and should be refused. If, however, the committee chooses to approve the application, we respectfully request the following conditions to protect my mother and her property. 1, a professionally prepared construction management plan. 2, a property damage or a standards bond to ensure immediate repairs. And 3, a strict condition prohibiting access to my mother's property. Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you. I just have a comment. I mean, they're not asking for a height variance. The 3rd floor is permitted now. It's your mother's house, I believe, is about 2.5 story with the sort of
Yeah,
partial attic in the front.
yes.
So it's currently taller than the applicant's house right now. This would potentially be a little bit taller than what you have. So really, the only issue that we can consider is the FSI, because the rest of it is essentially permitted as of right. Do you have guidelines that would show us that the proposed FSI is out of character for that neighborhood?
There are no semi-detached homes that currently have that scale. There may be some detached homes that are in the neighborhood that have maybe that height, and they may have maybe more.
But again, the height isn't something that we can discuss because the height they can do as of right. So the only thing we can say yea or nay to is the FSI. So I guess.
So it is bigger than what it should be. That's being proposed, right?
Well, I think the question is it bigger than what is common in the neighborhood? I'm going to leave that to the applicant to
Okay.
answer. But
Okay.
any other questions?
Sure, I had a
Sure.
just very brief question. You indicated that there was some work done on this property in the
Yes.
past.
5 years
How long
ago.
ago?
5 years ago.
5 years ago? It was the same owners?
Yes.
At that time, did you contact city building department in terms of the fact that your property was being used for purposes of access to their rear yard or anything of that nature?
I don't remember.
Did you
call?
contact the city?
No, but the communication was sent to the homeowners that their contractors were doing that. So they were well aware of it, and they stated that they tried to do what they can, but it shouldn't be on an 84-year-old to babysit their contractors.
Sure.
And to have to tell them to get off her property without even, not
I
even
understand,
asking.
and it's always good to get along with your neighbors, and
Sure.
perhaps there may have been a misstep by a contractor. So just to respond to that point, even though it's not before us here, I think it's important for you to know that anytime anyone's constructing anything in the area, you can certainly call city building, and if there are housekeeping issues, they can deal with them. I'm sure neighbors are all in the same boat, that if anybody is making some missteps, you have the right to call the city and find out. There's no reason to get antagonistic with the neighbors. We want to avoid that altogether, and I'm sure that you want to avoid it as well.
Yeah, it was more of a safety concern for us.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
To
There was an
clarify-
open trench left open, you know, it wasn't even enclosed.
Thank you.
So yes, safety concerns like a trench or something like that, I would ask the inspector, but the inspector's not going to get involved in whether they have right of access onto a neighbor's, that's a civil matter.
Yeah,
No, and if they
And
do
removal
want,
of a fence, those aren't things that the city will be able to assist with.
no, it's between two neighbors, whether or not the neighbor will allow them to access to the rear yard. But what I'm saying, if there's any issue with respect to housekeeping, if there's things that you believe are unsafe, or that material is being left on the public road, in your yard, in your front yard, or the sidewalk, those are things you can call the city on.
And if you have a trespass issue, you can always call the police.
Yep,
yeah.
we know that
We know
now.
that now.
And we're prepared
But
to do that.
in regards to your requests about the agreements, we can't impose that. Those are civil situations where we would have no way to enforce that. So, I mean, we would suggest you try to work things out in an amicable way with your neighbors, and perhaps in return for granting access, you can get them to sign off on certain concessions, but that's between you guys. We're not going to get involved in it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
If I get the applicant to come back.
Yes?
I would just like you to address your neighbors' concerns, and I guess my question is, have you discussed this with them before the hearing?
Not myself. The homeowners tried to contact them with the email, but they didn't respond.
Okay.
Regarding the project, I mean, I tried to keep the shadows down, the light with the pitched roof like shortens the sidewalls by 4 feet. So that was considered during the design.
Okay, and in terms of the FSI, do you have examples that are comparable in that neighborhood?
I don't have any designs that are comparable in that neighborhood. I know there are some 3-story precedents on Pritchard.
There's no issue with the 3rd story. We're not questioning that. It's just, I guess if you had done a survey of what typical FSIs are in that neighborhood, if not, 0.9, whatever is common, that's really the question. And that can be within 2 stories too.
Right. No,
Because
I
you don't need a variance for your height, so we're not.
No, okay,
We're not
alright.
challenging the height.
Okay, I was just speaking to
No,
them.
I know. But
No, I don't have any examples of
Okay.
any extended FSI.
Okay, any other questions?
I have a comment, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Mr. Agent, I understand from your submissions that there's been some attempt at communication. Apparently it didn't work out, but you're here now, the owners are here now, the neighbor is here now. Perhaps this is a golden opportunity to have a conversation and work out a neighborly arrangement. You've heard the concerns about your neighbor.
Like in another room? Or right
In
here?
the hall,
Okay,
no problem.
all right.
It's a suggestion in
okay,
terms of
no.
communication, yeah, and a negotiation.
Right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, there were no other speakers, so I guess we'll take it into committee.
Mr. Chairman, I'm prepared to speak on this item. It is an FSI that we're dealing with. I think it is a modest house in today's terms of what's being proposed at 0.92, 215 square meters, less than 250 square meters. There are no other variances related to the application, so I think it's a fair request. Move approval with no conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Golly. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. All in favor? Okay, that's unanimous approval. Thank you. Okay, our next item, number 24, 20 Chimney Swift Crescent. This is an application to convert the existing basement into a secondary suite. There is one variance being requested, and it has to do with the parking spot. And our agent is online.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and the committee members. My name is Ayman Amani.
Good afternoon.
The agent of 20 Chimney Swift Cars.
Okay. I think we would like a presentation on this item, given that I think you've got some opposition.
Okay, I have no problem. So what I've sent is 4 pages. If they can be shown. So shown here this site plan and the existing driveway. So for for the basement, we already got the permit for side stair, and that was already let's say permitted. So this application is for just to legalize the basement unit for future, let's say, secondary suite. And the only, let's say, the variance is about leaving the parking space in front of the existing attached garage.
Okay, so tell us about the parking space variance. So what do you have now?
Right now, what's required is, first of all, this area is developed from an old school. So the zoning is related to old zoning, which is in Etobicoke. I mean,
Okay, so
Etobicoke,
you have on-site parking right now?
yes,
So
yes.
what is that issue here is you're creating a second dwelling space.
This is required from the old zoning code from
Yeah.
Etobicoke code.
I'm-
They are asking about 6-meter length. The space right now, if you look at the site plan, sorry, I just need 34 centimeters exactly. So the shaded area in the presentation, the second page, I just need that 34 centimeters to be allowed to have complete on-site parking space.
Oh, a second parking space. Okay, so.
Right.
So in fact, you could park 2 vehicles here, just one of them will project into the right-of-way, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so
Correct.
there's a garage for one spot?
A garage for one spot, exactly.
you
And
could
the picture,
park-
the last page.
Yeah, and you could park another car in front, okay.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fine. Clear as mud.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Mr.
Now
Chair.
we have 2 other speakers?
So yes, we have 2, and we also have an additional one, the call-in.
Okay.
Oh, actually, they're disconnected. Hopefully they log back in, but so we do have the other 2. I will connect to Roman right now.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's Roman Nimchenko here. I'm a neighbor on Chimney Swift 15.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize. I want to just get a little bit of clarity about the parking spot. So do I understand it correctly? It will extend into the actual driveway, like further in the length, or it's in the width, going to be expansion, because it wasn't clear to me.
The driveway will be completely, the parking spot will be completely contained on the driveway. It's just when you park the car, potentially it will cross that imaginary line, the property line.
Oh, I see. So it's more of a between neighboring
No.
units.
It's, it won't even go onto the sidewalk. It'll still be on the driveway. It'll just be on the city portion of the front yard.
Got it. Okay. Well,
Which-
if that's the case, because for me it wasn't clear from the papers that I received earlier, if that's the case, I have no objection, because
Okay.
my
I
concern
mean,
was that the street has been blocked for me.
You know, 50%, maybe 60% of the people park their cars on that portion of the driveway in Toronto, but
Yep.
technically it's not an official parking spot. So it still becomes a variance.
Well, maybe it's a side question. Will it help to remove the car currently being parked on the street? Because that's the biggest concern for the whole street, because we've been suffering with the cleaning of the street because of that car
Yeah.
partially.
I can't answer that. You're going to have to ask
Yeah.
your neighbor about
It's more of an answer a question for the applicant, I guess.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker.
Yep, it's Desmond Francis, so connect now.
Francis and Desmond Francis on the line. Thank you for providing the clarification. Our read was that the vehicle would essentially, like this variance, if approved, would force the potential tenant in the secondary suite to park on the street versus extending the driveway and having them park, on the driveway. So that's not really a concern for us. However, I just want to echo what Roman had previously mentioned, that this vehicle has, parked on the street for a couple of years, according to one of my neighbors. And so if they could just be a little bit more mindful about moving it, as particularly when we have heavy snowfalls and are looking for snowplows to come through.
Okay, we can't guarantee where they're going to choose to park. All we can say is they have that option. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but so anyway, that's a question for the applicant. I'll come back to that. Is this place, to your knowledge, is the secondary suite already operating then? Is Priya gone?
Oh, sorry, I'm not aware as to whether it's operating or not. That
Okay,
would
but
be a question for you.
because you're referring to an existing vehicle, so I'm just curious what that's about.
I'm not sure, but the vehicle parked on the street is directly in front of their house, so.
Okay, I'll save that question for the applicant then. Okay, thanks. Is there another speaker?
So there was another speaker. They disconnected. I've refreshed. They're not online right now.
Okay.
And I didn't really have their email. They just partial phone number, so I can't really do anything with that.
Okay, so let's come back to the agent.
Hello, Mr. Chair.
Hi, good day. So can you clarify that for us? Is it your client that's parking on the street, or?
Well, as I know, they have two cars. So one is inside, and one is in front of the say that garage, which is on the driveway. If there is any other one, they should follow the rules. So I'll work with them to have transportation ticket or whatever to park legally.
Is this a permit? Is this a permit parking area? No.
No.
No. So essentially, there's the 3-hour parking maximum. So if someone wants to force that car to be moved, they can always phone parking control and have it tagged if it's there overnight.
That's right. And finally, we should follow the rules. And I think what I've heard from the neighbors is kind of concerns. Finally, my variance is not harming any one of the neighbors. I think so.
No, I don't think anyone is. I think they're concerned about removing parking, but you're not removing parking.
Yeah, well, finally, to legalize, I mean, the main purpose is legalizing the basement units to provide the parking space required based on that Etobicoke code.
So,
we should provide the parking space.
Is the basement a secondary suite now, or is this a proposal?
No, the main purpose of this, let's say, variance is to legalize the basement.
Understand.
So we already got the permit to finalize the basement, and right now they decided to make it legal second unit.
So you already have a secondary suite?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
With a previous permit.
With a previous permit? How did you get the permit without the variance?
Basically, the intention was to, let's say, add more, let's say, space for their son.
No, that's not my question.
Oh.
If you're saying you obtained a building permit for the secondary suite, so why do you need to come here?
The permit was for the side stair, the concrete stair.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you haven't obtained a permit for the secondary suite yet?
Not yet.
Okay, understood.
Okay.
So I guess keep your neighbors happy and put the car in the driveway.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I could say nothing rather than following the rules.
Yeah. Well, it's for the son apparently, so that's why they got the 2 cars already. Okay, so thank you. We'll take it back to committee then.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
There was an objection from the Residents Association. I forgot to mention that. Just trying to see what that letter said. I think the letter was objecting to the idea of a secondary suite, which is irrelevant because they've been permitted for years in Toronto anyway.
And the only minor variance in front of us is for parking.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, and there's no restrictive covenant or something, which is what they're trying to imply with this letter. Okay, so that's what we have before us is one variance related to a parking spot, which I think we've amicably potentially resolved with the neighbors. Is anyone ready for a motion?
Mr. Chair, I will bring that motion, having had clarification from the neighbors and from the questions that were answered. I move to approve the single variant on the basis that it otherwise meets the 4 tests, and I do not see any other comments from the city or conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Povic. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Bill. All in favor? Okay, unanimous approval. Okay, thank you to the applicant and the deputants. Does anyone need or want a break, or should we continue on? While we're through, okay. So, okay, so item 25, 131 Shaver Avenue North. This is an application to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage. There are 4 variances being requested. Forestry is requesting condition 2 in the event of approval. We have an arborist report before us, and we have support from number 127, which I believe is the immediate neighbor. And our agent is Joe Dome, and Joe, I believe, is online.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Joe Dome, 133 Torresdale Avenue, agent for the owners.
Okay, Joe, I don't think we need a presentation here, unless you're wanting to do one. If you're open just to questions.
That's okay. I did just want to clarify one particular variance for the height. The height is 9.43 meters. It is determined to be a flat roof dwelling, but we believe this is a technical variance. The entire second story of the proposed dwelling is actually a sloped roof and does comply with the as of right 9.5 meter height for a sloped roof dwelling. The reason this was identified as a flat roof dwelling is because the rear covered porch, green roof, is continuous with the flat roof above the main floor dining room, and therefore the porch canopy is also included in the total dwelling roof calculation. So it moves the total to 51.1% flat roofed elements, meaning that the entire dwelling is considered flat roofed, but no portion above the main floor is flat.
No, we can see that from the elevations, so thank you for that clarification. Okay, yeah, because that number looked a little out of whack. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. I'm assuming there are no other speakers?
No, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Committee members?
Motion?
Yeah.
Sure. Yep, based on the evidence provided, because I did have a question about the roof being flat, because it doesn't look flat, but it is flat. I will move a motion for approval as the application meets the 4 tests, subject to condition 2 in the February 5th Environment, Climate, and Forestry memo.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. All in favor? Okay, that's unanimous approval. Thank you, Mr. Dome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next item. Next item was 26, A, B, and C, 71 Lloyd Manor Road. This is an application to obtain consent to sever the lot into 2 residential lots. Forestry was requesting deferral, and I'm not sure if the applicant has resolved that for us, so we're going to get into that before we get into the item. But just to round out the background, transportation has advisory comments, engineering and construction services has advisory comments, and there was one letter of concern submitted regarding tree protection. And let's talk to the agent.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Nadeem Irfan, NIA Architects, 10 Milner Business Court, Suite 710, Scarborough, Ontario, M1B 3C6. I can make a presentation if the committee member requires.
Before you get to the presentation, which I will ask you for later, but I want to resolve, well, I want to know whether you've resolved your issues with forestry, because they were asking
Yes, yes.
for a deferral.
So we have
and-
submitted an email correspondence to the staff, which is showing on the screen. We have reached out to Urban Forestry and demonstrated that the small 5-centimeter tree newly planted after the survey, we can work with that and perhaps maybe make this driveway smaller and change a slight angle. And if staff can scroll a little bit further, and we can demonstrate on the screen that it's been done, and staff is okay. They confirm that they don't need a deferral due to that city.
But we don't have anything from forestry staff, or do we?
They don't, because it was last minute, just like 2 days ago. If scroll a little bit better, so we can show that there is a small sketch attached to this email. So there is a small tree coming into the driveway, but we will be able to resolve this.
That's the
So
red
as of
circle.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a very small tree. It's a very, very small tree.
Well, I guess they're hoping it's going to be a bigger tree someday.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We would have accommodated this if this was not planted after the survey. The survey was done about approximately a year plus minus ago, and the forestry planted this tree recently.
Okay, so if we impose some forestry conditions, you can work that out with forestry.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, just wanted to resolve that because we did have the deferral request. So now, if I could ask you to do your presentation then.
Yes. So this lot is large enough to propose 2 lots. I would like to emphasize that there's no variance for lot frontage or lot area. They meet as of right. It can be granted. Consent can be granted. There are one variance for part 1, which is the rear yard setback. It is calculated at the middle of the lot. 8.4 or 8 is required. We're proposing 7.5, and that is because, our backyard is parallel to, or back wall is parallel to the back lot line, and the front lot line is the one we wanted to maintain 7.5, and that's why we end up into this variance. So we believe that 7.5 meter would be ample enough to provide the amenity space, and it's a very small variance, granted all the time. For part 2, this is actually kind of a circumstantial, variance. The bylaw requires that on the corner lot, the driveway access should be from the flanking street and not from the front, which is on the Lesmar. And because of that, we are, creating this variance. If we were to remove the driveway and take it to the Lesmar side, which is the lot frontage, there will be a variance because the bylaw requires the lot on the corner lot should have a driveway access from the flanking street. Either way, there will be one variance, but whatever is the deficiency on the landscape, our front yard is fully landscaped, so it will compensate from that side. So we believe this is a great example for the development, redevelopment, and intensification. and it's a moderate development, and the variances are very minor in nature. The urban forestry have condition. Of course, they have their concerns, but we're confident that we can resolve it. Community planning has recommendation. Engineering services have recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, the history on this, I think at one point there was a proposal for severance into 3 lots, but now we're looking
Yes.
at 2 lots. And given that this is actually a low number of variances for a typical severance application, so thank you. We have other speakers?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So we have one person in
Is there anyone in person?
chambers.
Or no?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hi,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon. My name is Isa. I am on the east side of the lot at 42 Lesmar Drive.
Okay.
I want to ask a question before, because as I heard what he said about Lesmar Drive, the driveway of the proposal development, the 2 driveways, is not on the Lesmar, right? It's on LLOYD Manor, both.
Yes,
This is from what I understand, right?
that's the way it looks to me.
Because the tree that I am concerned is right on the south side of Part 2. But anyway, okay, let me continue with my concern. Okay, we asked that the remaining mature trees be protected, especially the maple at the south side of the lot. And there is 2 more mature trees on the north side where the variance is requested from the minimum require of 8.48 meter to 7.5 meter. That's where the 2 mature trees are. Okay, and then there is another variance. That's about the side yard soft landscaping will be reduced from minimum of 75% to 33.5%. So that means there will be more runoffs. The neighborhood is already having prone to flooding issues. So the mature trees must be protected to reduce the burden of the stormwater system, I believe. Especially the soft landscaping now is reduced by almost 50%. So I want to make sure that mature trees will be there. I'm not opposing the development, provided the trees, especially the mature ones, are protected. So as I mentioned in my written comments submitted earlier, at least 2 mature trees have been cut off without permit in 2021 when the first application was submitted, when they request 3 lots, split into 3 lots. So to make way for this application, because I witnessed that, I called the forestry, Ministry of Forestry, but too late. I can't save the 2 big trees. And now I can see the sun, it is very hot without the tree, like the canopy is no more canopy. So, but anyway, okay. Now today, my main concern is the trees. I know I will lose some privacy because there will be 2 duplexes overlooking my yard, my backyard. I'm on the east side. But I care more about losing the mature trees because this is for the whole neighborhood. So I'm here. I don't speak in front of public very often, but
You're doing fine, by the way.
I choose to, and I just want to save the trees.
Absolutely. I think we do as well, and that was why we had the concerns.
Yeah,
with
that's why,
forestry.
because they have a decoration, but they said that they will have to require removal of trees, but they don't know, there's no information yet.
Well, if we go forward with this, we're going to impose 2 forestry conditions to make sure that they deal with forestry. And they will have to go through the application process to preserve those trees.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, or primarily
that's
just the
trees.
trees? Okay, you got it.
Simple.
Thank you. Is there another, Anthony?
Yes, let me see, actually. Man. Actually, they're not currently online. So yeah, Anthony is currently not online.
But not available.
Not available. No.
Is there someone else, or is that the extent of the speakers?
There was supposed to be somebody else, but they're unavailable as well. So
Okay. Okay, from what I gather, I think most of the concerns around this proposal dealt with the trees. So I'm going to ask the applicant to come back to address that, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Nadeem?
Thank you for unmuting me. It is not our intention to cut any of the trees at this point. We have on part 2, the south tree, we have an ample separation, approximately 6+ meters. So we're confident that we will be, not even injuring the tree. Similarly, we have a tree number, I believe, at the part 1, there is a front yard tree. It is our intention not to damage this tree. Perhaps we will be required to have arborist report, and they will determine if there is an injury happening, and we'll be happy to amend our plans as required to make urban forestry staff satisfied and issue us the clearance going forward with the fulfilling the conditions of the severance, if granted.
Just as an FYI, if you had come up with an arborist report initially, you probably wouldn't have had the issues with forestry.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Any questions from panel members? Okay, so let's take it into committee. So if someone's looking to approve, we're looking for 2 forestry conditions in the usual ECS.
So with that, I would move a motion for approval, as I do believe the applications meet the 4 tests. And I've never seen a consent application with so few variances.
Oh, I have.
I think it's a good one, and it indicates that what they're trying to do fits on site. And I will connect that to the February 5th, 2026 Environment, Climate, and Forestry Division memo with conditions 2 and 4.
2 and 1.
Sorry.
Or 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
No, 4 is deferral.
February 2nd was 1 and 2.
Yeah. So forestry conditions 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Usual ECS conditions of consent. And transportation is just advisory. Is there a seconder?
Second, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Ghali. All in favor? Okay, it's a unanimous approval. Thank you to the resident and to the applicant.
Can I ask a question?
Normally, no, but sure.
Because I can hear him very well. So he mentioned the big tree on the south side, he has no intention
Correct.
to touch that.
Correct.
But the north side, there may be.
It doesn't matter, because what we've done is we've imposed conditions for him to deal with urban forestry both on private and public trees. So he's going to have to deal with forestry.
But he did say they're not going to cut any trees.
That's their intent.
Yeah, their intent. And if they do, they have to deal with forestry, and then if they do, they may have to come back here.
You can call Paul tomorrow, and he'll answer all your questions.
Okay.
That's good, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Well, he's in now. So item 27 has been deferred earlier. So we are on to item 28. So we are now on to the items that were previously deferred from other hearings. So starting with item 28, which is 6 Queen Anne Road. This is an application to permit a front yard parking pad and to convert the existing detached garage in the rear yard into an accessory building. Sorry. Yes, it is. There are 4 variances being requested. Transportation would like 2 conditions in the event of approval. Planning would like 2 conditions in the event of approval. And forestry is asking for 1 condition in the event of approval. This was deferred from March of 2025. And our applicant is online.
Hi, good afternoon, committee chair and council members. My name is Carol Nguyen. I work for BGA Architects located at 321 Carlaw Unit 203. I could give a brief presentation if you like or answer questions, but I'll leave that to you guys.
If you can do a very brief overview, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Yeah, so we are the current applicants of this project. The previous applicant during the last committee hearing received urban forestry comments, and we got the project to respond to those urban forestry comments. We resolved the issue by reducing the width of the driveway so that we are no longer removing the tree that they were concerned with. And that's where we ended up with the smaller driveway. That's the width of the parking pad.
Okay. Are there any other speakers for this item?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So we have 4 variances. Any questions from committee members? No? Okay. Are we ready to take it into committee then? Okay.
So I'll move a motion for approval, as I do believe the application meets the 4 tests, and subject to the February 5th Environment, Climate, Forestry Condition Number 1, February 5th, 2026 Planning Memo with the 2 conditions it contains, and the February 3rd, 2026 Transportation Review Memo with the 2 conditions it contains.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. All in favor? Okay, that's unanimous approval.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, item 29, 415 Rustic Road. This is an application to construct a new detached 4-plex and a new garden suite in the rear yard. There are 4 variances being requested. Forestry is requesting conditions 1 and 2 in the event of approval. This was deferred from December of 2025 due to a notice issue. And we have no objections now. However, there were multiple objections filed for the original hearing in December. So no. And the applicant is online.
Good evening, committee members, Mr. Chair. My name is Sohail Hadian at 3590 Rutherford Road, Unit 7. I'm here to answer any questions about this application.
Actually, I think you would be in your interest to do a presentation. We do have other speakers, and I suspect they're not here in support.
Of course, yeah. We are proposing a 4-plex as well as a garden suite on this property, both of which are as of right on the zoning bylaw. In order to design a livable space for the units that we are proposing, we need 3 variances, one of which is a very technical variance. The first variance is for the building depth, and it's directly related to the second floor cantilevering or overhanging over the porch. That makes the front setback deficient as well as the building depth deficient. The other variance, the third variance, is regarding the existing driveway access to the site. Zoning bylaw requires access to parking spaces on a lot to be for a 4-plex to be from an existing driveway. This driveway is actually existing, but because we were doing some modifications on the driveway inside the property, the zoning reviewer wanted us to add this variance to make sure that we will not need any variances in the future. I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay, just wanted to clarify, let me come back to the notice. Hold on.
My apologies, I forgot about the coverage variance that we are applying for coverage variance for the garden suite. We're requesting 75.15 square
Yeah,
meters.
that's okay, we've got that. So the front yard setback variance, you're saying that's not at ground level, that is strictly from the second floor?
So at ground level, we are at 6 meters, where zoning bylaw requires 6.33.
Okay.
At the second floor, we are at 4.5 meters, where zoning bylaw requires 6.33.
Understood. And again, I want to clarify variance 2, it's a building length variance that you're requesting, not a building depth variance. I think you had mentioned depth.
That's correct. Yes, you are. Building length is the variance we are requesting.
Okay. And you don't need a building depth variance then, I guess?
No, we do not.
Okay. All right, any other questions before we move on to other speakers? No? Okay. Okay, so Thomas, we've got, is it Frank Caruso?
Yeah, that's correct. I'll connect him now.
Good afternoon, Frank.
I spoke at the original hearing. I don't think I need to repeat all those, I would think, or nothing that
Sorry,
adds to
could
the
you
letters that
just
are.
give us your address, please?
Oh, sorry, Frank Caruso, 415 Rustic Road. Sorry, 417 Rustic
417,
Road.
I was going to say.
I'm very interested in this property.
Okay.
So I'd filed a letter at the original hearing. I have nothing to add beyond that. There was a dispute over that driveway you can see on the east side. My driveway is partly over the property line. That's how this street was built originally. All the bungalows are like that. That was a potential dispute that I had said earlier might result in a legal proceeding for an easement. The owner has reached out to me. We've had some discussions, and there's a proposal underway to deal with that. And I don't think that's something that's before you anyway. So I have nothing new to add beyond what's in the letters, and I intended just to see what the presentation would be.
Okay, so you still have an outstanding issue with the driveway then, I guess?
Yes, and there's a proposal that I received this morning to try to deal with that, and I'm reviewing that with my lawyer.
Okay.
When I get a chance.
Okay, fair enough. And in terms of the variances that are before us today, you don't have any comments then?
Nothing beyond what's already in all the letters that have been filed.
Okay, has there been a revision from what was originally filed?
To the application, you mean?
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of. It was a notice issue.
There was a
sign
notice,
that had been
yeah,
posted
yeah, but they
during the
didn't do any
postage strike and all of
revisions.
that.
You guys didn't meet in between or any of that kind of stuff?
We've met in between, but not revisions to the application that's in front of you. It's
I
just the
see,
driveway
okay.
issue that we have.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, thank you. Any questions from panel members? No? Is there any other speakers?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so I'll give the agent a chance to come back. I'm not sure they really need to, but that's the procedure, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Yes, we spoke to the neighbor, and we are dealing with the issue of the shared driveway. We are putting our good intent in front to resolve the issue.
Okay. Any questions from panel members? No? So let's take it into committee.
Chair, I just wanted to perhaps get staff to confirm. Do we have a report from planning dated November 24th? Is that still a live report, or it is? Thank you.
So the report from the original hearing still stands?
So Chair, I'm prepared to move approval to give authorization to these 4 variances. I believe that the application does meet the 4 tests. I'm going to move approval subject to urban forestry condition 1 and 2 and the planning report of November the 24th that makes some stipulations.
Yeah, that, just to be clear, that report is asking for a condition of approval. And that condition is that it's tied to the site plan
The front yard setback.
with regards to front yard setback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll second that.
okay. All in favor? Okay, so that's unanimous approval. Thank you to the applicant and the neighbor. Okay, sorry, that was Bill. Okay, item 30, 50 Cannon Road. This item was also deferred from December of 2025 due to notice issue. This is an application to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage. There are five variances being requested. Forestry is requesting condition 1. There's an arborist report on file, and that's all we have. And thanks for waiting so long.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, panel member. My name is Felix Leicher of 33 Fernwood Park Avenue. Since our last hearing, we worked the forestry to work on their concerns which they originally raised. They don't have any further concerns as we reduced the size of the driveway. We discussed several different options for the driveway. So they're now in line with what we're proposing. There's a revised site plan on file with a narrower, straight driveway that was, I think, submitted last week. Furthermore, we did one more change in the proposal. The second floor balcony to the rear was reduced so that it no longer has a size variance requested. That was due to one of the neighbors raising concerns of oversight. That's, I think, all I can add at this point, unless you have further questions. Happy to
Okay,
answer those.
any questions? No? Okay, thank you for now. And we have another speaker.
Yes, John Males.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's not evening yet, which is an improvement.
Yeah.
My name is John Males, and I live at 39 Clover Hill Road, which is the back end of the properties in question. I have some concerns with respect to the trees. I realize the applicant has made a change where the driveway is now between the trees. And my perception when I look at it visibly, I think it can work. Where I have problems with respect to the trees are there's an arborist report from the 17th of December that lists various conditions that need to be met so that the trees are not injured during the process of construction. One of those is an area that they have designated in the report, yeah, it shows up there, for equipment and access. So point 1 is either equipment or it's access, or storage of equipment. If storage is there, the equipment can't get in. In addition to that, it's going to be heavy equipment going in and out. And if you look at the proximity of where the tree is, the metal tractors and whatever else is going to churn up the ground and or the roots. There's also the problem with, for example, cement trucks come in, go out, they leave any debris behind, it soaks into the ground, what's it going to do to the roots, and can't really be extracted by excavation because you would damage the roots. So there'll be bulldozers, cranes, dump trucks, who knows what. So it has to do with the potential damage to the trees during the course of construction. And because that area is designated as storage or access, the potential for equipment to go where the driveway isn't yet installed. The arborist report sort of talks about it's going to likely result in damage or injury to the trees. These trees are probably near 80 to 100 years old, based on other trees, not on the lot, but in the immediate area. The other concern is with the driveway. The arborist report mentions that there is basically a 25% reduction to tree 1 and 2 with respect to drainage not being there, coverage because of the driveway. What's not mentioned is we already have a 25% coverage reduction on tree 2 from 46 Cannon Road's construction, therefore be 50% reduction to tree 2. There are other issues. I've mentioned it previous hearing, and I'll mention it again. There are 2 instances of the application on the city. Both have the same application number, but different property IDs. The application also indicates that even though it's for 50 Cannon Road, it lists the addresses as 52 and 46 Cannon Road. So I have to wonder if there's any supporting documentation to indicate that this is now an address for the 2 lots that are in question that were originally 4 lots that belonged to the original 52 Cannon before it was demolished to make way for the original housing. The rest I have notes on. You can ask questions. I've looked at the LRU of over a year ago, the Land Records Registry. It's interesting, but I haven't been able to find where I stored those items on my machine, so I don't have them right off the top. But the original 52 was 4 lots, but was known as one address for over 70 years. And the city seems to list them as different addresses on the application. When I look at any other application on the system, the application address per the notice matches the address on the city site where it says addresses concerned. With this one, it says 52 and 46, doesn't mention 50. And there are 2 property IDs, and I know this because I can read the URLs and happen to have a technical background from my years of software engineering.
So what applications are you referring to?
Both applications on the system show...
Applications for what?
Show the application as the application number A048, let me expand that, A040825EYK, but the URL has the same, one number's the same, but the PID number is different. If you were to go on the city site as a user as opposed to the intranet, then you would see on a search for 50 Cannon, it pops up 2, not 1. And they all have identical supporting documents. They both say 52 and 46 Cannon Road as the addresses of concern, but the application is about 50 Cannon. But I've checked other applications randomly. The address for the application matches the address listed in the addresses area of the online system. But I mean, I took screenshots, but
No, I can explain. So the problem is there are whole lots on a registered plan of subdivision, but this parcel of 2 lots
yes,
is vacant. So we weren't able to map it. So we had to use the abutting lands so that we could generate the notice properly, because this is a pending address. So we don't have, so we've over notified by a slight amount just to make sure we caught the proper notification area using the abutting lands.
One
So
thing
the
I
proper
forgot,
municipal
sorry.
address then.
One thing I forgot to mention about trees, the arborist report does not mention the 3 private trees on the lot that are about 1.5 meters high.
Okay.
And that's it, unless you have any other questions.
It's not about the height of the tree, it's about the diameter.
diameter.
at
The
a
girth,
certain
the
height.
girth at three,
Yeah.
You mean the canopy part or the
the
actual
actual trunk.
The trunk.
trunk? Then I would say no.
Yeah, so they're under the size that would be under the protection.
Yeah, but I read something somewhere that suggested that private trees don't follow the same rules about girth of the tree.
They do,
Oh, okay. They do?
they do.
Oh, okay.
No, the city trees don't have to, like, they're protected.
No, I'm not talking about the city trees. I'm
I know.
talking about the 3 trees that sit between 46 and 52.
But what I'm saying is a city tree can be a tiny sapling and it's
And still be protected, whereas a private
It's a
tree has to
private-
be that minimum girth.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
you got it
Then
there.
I tried to read to figure out before I made the notes, but that's
You
fine.
got it the other way around, yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. And we will be imposing a condition around the city trees.
Okay, because I'm concerned not only with the trees and the driveway and drainage, I'm also concerned about construction using alternate ways to get in and out.
Yeah, no, they're going to have to put in place tree protection zones for both of those trees. And that staging area, I don't think is going to make sense when you put those TPZs in.
I would agree, but I looked at it and it looked like there was
We're going to
clearance.
come back to the applicant
Okay.
about that. Okay,
Fine. Thank you.
thanks. Come on back.
Okay. So, the plan you showed regarding the driveway, that's what we proposed as a change to forestry.
Yep.
Forestry asked us to straighten the driveway again, remove tree number 2 because it's at the end of its lifetime, and if that, the impact on tree number 1, the one to the
Which one is 2 and which one is?
one is the one lower,
Okay.
like the smaller one. The west side, yes, correct. That one is still lively and should be protected as much as possible. So there's another plan on file which shows the communication with forestry and what they agreed on. But basically, the driveway goes straight through tree number 2.
So you're proposing to remove tree number 2 now?
Correct.
So this isn't the site plan that's going to be approved?
No.
And so forestry is saying that tree number 2 is past its life expectancy?
Yes, they asked us to change the proposal again and remove number 2.
Okay, but
none of the front yard landscaping has any variance.
okay, no,
really.
that's fine. But then the issue of you setting up a staging area next to tree number 2, I'm assuming is going to be a non-starter because you need to set up a TPZ around that tree.
It's no longer required because tree number 2 will be gone and there will be sufficient space.
But you
on that
just said
side.
tree number 1 is going to be gone.
Tree number 1 is the one to the west, the smaller tree, which is proposed to remain. Tree number 2 is the one to the east, upper tree in this picture.
So the upper tree in this picture is going to remain or remove?
Remove.
Okay, so my issue is you've indicated, or I saw this drawing is indicating a staging area marked in orange next to the tree at I'll call it on the west side, right?
The removal of tree number 2, that staging area is no longer required.
Okay. The tree that's on the bottom of the drawing,
Yes,
are you going to put a tree protection zone around it?
yes.
So how can you have a staging area next to
We
it?
will not have a staging area there.
Okay. Because that's what your drawing is saying, so that's not going to happen. Okay.
Not anymore, yeah.
I'm good now. It was a little confusing because I didn't know which tree was going to be removed. So you're going to wind up with a straight-in driveway then?
Correct.
Okay. And to ensure that, we need to put in place forestry condition 1 in the event of approval. Any other questions? Okay. So we'll take it into committee. Thank you. Excuse me. Anyone?
Motion?
Yeah.
Sure. Based on the evidence provided, I'll move a motion for approval, as I believe the application meets the 4 tests subject to the February 5th Environment, Climate, Forestry Condition Number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. And do we have a seconder?
I'll second, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. All in favor? Okay, so that's unanimous approval. Thank you. I believe that was our last item, unless,
Thank you for waiting for us.
yeah, maybe. Is there anyone ready for a motion to adjourn?
Move adjournment, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. 4:32. We are adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks all. Another successful hearing.
Oh, yeah.
Saved a lot of work. I shredded the wires, but I got it. Not an issue. You see on the 26th? You know? Yes.